Good morning from Novi Pazar. Gonna get coffee, get some breakfast, traditional breakfast, see a bit about the town, visit some UNESCO sites, find some more food, go to sleep. This is the Altun Alem Mosque. It was built from 1516, and it was along a route that led further to Istanbul and Thessaloniki on a road the locals called Constantinople Road. It's being renovated. The street really feels like a bazaar, all of these single-story shops. This is Isa Bey Hamam, an old Turkish bathhouse from the 1400s, turned restaurant. Maybe a good place for coffee. You know, someday we gotta do a Turkish bath. Turkish coffee. And now for breakfast. Mantije, a traditional dish of Novi Pazar, of unique taste. It's not burek. Some people say it's like burek in cubes, but the ingredients are different, aside from, the yogurt. There are no written records of the origin of Pazarski mantije. They say it came to the west with Genghis Khan's army. In Novi Pazar, you gotta pour yogurt over it. Onions and meat. Delicious. I'll show you the inside of this. Oh, you can see the meat there. The communists have left their mark on this Ottoman town. This is Hotel Vršac, 1977. It stretches over the river there. This is a replica of the Sevilla in Sarajevo. It's one in Belgrade too. Amir Agan-Han. It's an old Ottoman inn for merchants, completed in the 1600s. More communists. A nickname for Novi Pazar is Little Istanbul. Hey, Vesco hasn't bombed our car yet. Yeah, I have a death threat against me here. Ask me about it, I'll tell you in private. And now driving to one of Novi Pazar's UNESCO sites. This one's on the northern edge of town. It's the Church of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul. Oldest church in Serbia. It was built during ancient Roman times. There it is. Scientists haven't figured out exactly when this church was founded, but there's evidence that suggests it existed as far back as the 300s AD. Byzantine and medieval Slavic tombs surround this church. It's a zoo inside. Heading to another UNESCO site now. It's a monastery. that Uroš the Great had built in the mid-1200s. He was the king of Serbia in the mid-1200s, one of the most important rulers of Serbia. King Stefan Uroš I, Uroš the Great, had this monastery built near the source of the Raška River in the Ras region. Ras is the center of medieval Serbia. No pictures or videos are allowed inside, so I'm just going to take some quick pictures and videos. And is this the tomb of Uroš the Great? So this is the mother of Uroš the Great, and there's the king himself. This fresco is of the Virgin Mary going to sleep, the long sleep. She'll wake up on the day of final judgment. Now walking to the source of the Raška River, I hope. Look at the color of the water. So this building at the source of the Raška doesn't seem to be in use anymore. So here's the source of the river that flows through Novi Pazar. The water eventually reaches the Danube and flows out to the Black Sea. Back in the city. Dinner. This is saç kavurma. In Turkey, it's always been with lamb, but this one is with beef. And mantilla again. Good morning. I know what you're thinking. Fast dice. There are no Spomeniks in Novi Pazar? I don't think so. I didn't come across any, other than these two things. What can I say? Disappointed. One last glance at the socialist realist Hotel Vršac. And one last bit of communist era architecture. This is the brutalist Jezero complex by Tomas Milovanovic, 1986. So it's goodbye Novi Pazar. We're off now to the mountainous Zlatibor region where we'll spend the next 2 nights. Here's the town of Sjenica. Sjenica is 76% Muslim. And here in Sjenica is a Spomenik, Monument to Fallen Fighters, 1951. The name of this Spomenik is Juriš. And this plaque says it was erected in memory of all of the fallen fighters of Sjenica, as well as the 52 fallen partisans who died fighting for the liberation of Sjenica on December 22nd, 1941. On this lamppost you have notices of the dead. Muslim marked with the crescent and the star, and the Christians with a cross. We visited Sjenica once before, remember that? Spent one night here, and it was just a layover, if you will, to visit the river Uvac. I'm going to put a picture up of it now. It's about a half hour from here, but we're not going to do the drive today. It's this meandering section of a river that ultimately flows into Bosnia and Herzegovina and then empties into the Lim River. Remember that river, Lim? We're gonna see it later, maybe tomorrow, next day. Anyway, enjoy the picture. There's Zlatibor district, there's Zlatibor mountain, and there's Zlatibor, the town. We're spending the next 2 days in Zlatibor district, which began here in Sjenica. Tomorrow we'll head up Zlatibor mountain. Now we're heading to Prijepolje, which is one of Serbia's most beautiful towns. Right now we're heading to a monastery, but we'll be exploring several of the villages in the municipality of Prijepolje today. And probably tomorrow morning. Entering Prijepolje. Right next to Prijepolje's 1979 House of Culture is a monument to Saint Sava. So we're on the right side, the east side of the Lim River, and that part of town was Ottoman controlled. And so you have mosques. And the left side, across the River Lim there, was controlled by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So you have a church or two. So this is Mileševe Monastery, an endowment of King Vladislav, built from 1218. Vladislav was the grandson of the famous Serbian prince Stefan Nemanja. So we're here to see the famous White Angel fresco. Now, this monastery became widely popular when Saint Sava's body was moved and buried here. Saint Sava was also a Serbian prince and was Stefan Nemanja's son. So his relics were later transferred to Belgrade in 1595 by Ottoman order and burned. So he's not here anymore. You could spend the night here for 1,000 dinar a person. That's maybe $9 a person. All right, heading inside the monastery. Let's see if we can break some rules and go to hell. Oh, it's nice and cool in here. It's like 72 degrees Fahrenheit outside and maybe a 55 in. And there it is. The first transatlantic television signal broadcast from Europe in 1962 included the White Angel fresco and the greeting message to Americans. The White Angel is Archangel Gabriel, by the way. And this fresco is known for giving the impression that the Archangel's gaze follows you around, just like the Mona Lisa's does. And here's a monument of the White Angel. Driving now to Mileševac Fortress in the town of Hisarcik. Hisar means fortress in Turkish, and the town used to be Turkish. There's an old mosque there that holds a 400-year-old Quran that is probably closed. The fortress was built to protect the Bosnian Road, the road between Prijepolje and Sjenica. And it also protected the monastery we just visited. Our drive to the fortress and Hisarcik may be at an end. Trying alternate routes. Never give up. Maybe it is time to give up. Dead end that way too?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, 100%. Done. On to the next. Now crossing to the former Austro-Hungarian controlled side. driving now to a pine tree, an old pine tree, 400-year-old plus pine tree, a holy pine tree in Kamenica. Kamenica is a nature reserve with over 100 natural springs and this old pine tree. It really feels special. So this black pine, over 400 years old, was used as a place for worship. Christians who had no church here would take communion here and hold their services here at the Holy Pine. Saw some traditional looking houses up ahead. We'll check that out and then head back to where we're staying before the sun sets. How these wooden buildings are surrounded with the firewood. Here's a World War II Spomenik, perhaps a grave in Kamenica. They put it up in 1958. I had to pull over to show you this road sign. Look at this. Titograd. There is no Titograd anymore. There hasn't been a Titograd since 1992. Now it's Podgorica in Montenegro. Mahmut Bey Jami. Another landmark of Prijepolje. It's an Ottoman clock tower from the 1500s called Sahat Kule. Mahova Pekara for Komplet Lepenja. So this is something I hope you don't see the last of on this road trip. It's a Komplet Lepenja with a twist. There's cevapi inside. I think I prefer it without cevapi. I don't know, never tried it with cevapi, but basically it's flatbread, it's kaimak, it's an egg, meat drippings, and in this case, cevapi. Look at him. This is what a dog made of Komplet Lepenja looks like. Christians and Muslims dying together. This was a former Turkish grammar school built from 1839. This is the Austro-Hungarian side of the Lim River. Big trees along the Lim River bank. And she's got her big puffy vest on, and look at the size of that tree.
Ovo je Topola. Drvo se zove Topola. Staro je preko 85 godina. Jer ja imam 82 godine. Ono je još bilo. Okay.
As you can see, just walking around one of Serbia's most beautiful towns before saying goodbye. I think maybe we'll see another monastery, maybe some waterfall, and then head up the mountain to Zlatibor. Breakfast at restaurant Charshia. And this dark meat here is Zlatiborska prosciutto. It's a traditional Serbian smoked ham, hailing from this mountainous region of Zlatibor. Here's a 2003 Spomenik, dedicated to the fallen heroes of Prijepolje, of all the wars from 1991 to 2001. This is the Ibrahim Pasha Mosque, built in the 1500s. It served as a shrine for the Ottoman army that was guarding the bridge here across the Lim River. This is a Spomenik to the victims of the 1943 Operation Kugelblitz. Operation Kugelblitz, which in German means lightning ball, was a major anti-partisan offensive orchestrated by the German forces in December 1943 during World War II. Prijepolje was in northern Montenegro at the time, and this Spomenik is for the victims. 75,000 troops on the Axis side, it's the Germans, Bulgarians, and the Chetniks, versus 12,000 Yugoslav partisans, of which 11,000 were killed. So, Axis victory. I know I promised you a waterfall and a monastery built by a monk named David, but I'm not feeling the weather for that right now, so we're gonna head up Zlatibor Mountain instead. Here's a Spomenik dedicated to the fallen of the town Drnova in the liberation struggle. Let's see what this says here. Tito crossed the Lim River here on December 19th, 1941. This sign is sitting here on Zlatar Lake. It just says that these guys disappeared on March 1st, 1980. Zlatar Lake is not looking so healthy these days. Look how low the water is. This currently nearly non-existent Zlatar Lake is among the mountains of Zlatar and Zlatibor. And now, up the mountain. This is Zlatibor, the very large, unplanned town on the mountain. And here's what you can rent for 20 bucks in Zlatibor. Comfortable couch?
Yeah.
I feel like this town doubled in size since I was here last year. Now you know how to write Zlatibor in Serbian Cyrillic. These are the famous Zlatibor nakrnjaks. Keeps your dick warm. You can never own enough of these. They're very important. Winter's coming. King Alexander I Obrenović visited Zlatibor in 1893, and they built this fountain, the King's Fountain, in memory of this. I did it again. Another complet lepenia, this one with prosciutto and, what is this, sour milk? In Serbia, you can buy things that you can't find in other Western countries, like these dates from Iran. Two 4x4s together, a Lada and an FJ, friends forever. Day 3, third complet lepenia. We're at Krčma Gai restaurant. And then we're leaving Zlatibor. And what did you order here?
Kačamak with kajmak and cheese.
There's a giant Spomenik in Zlatibor, and you've seen it already in Yugoslav Spomeniks Part 3B, Winter in Serbia. So I'm not going to say much about it, but here it is now in the autumn. So today's mostly going to be about Tara National Park. We're going to spend 2 nights there, actually. Right now, though, heading for one more stop on Zlatibor Mountain, a village called Mokra Gora, which means wet mountain. And I think there's some waterfalls there and some old traditional houses. And then to Tara Mountain. You know, they say Mokra Gora is not only the most beautiful village in Serbia, but it's the most beautiful village in all of Europe. Who is they? My landlord for tonight's stay. This is Bele Vode. It's a national forest area. There's a little church here, stone bridge, some water. Looks nice. It's in Mokra Gora. There's an option to take a train with a steam engine along several stops in Mokra Gora. This might be one of them. I see a station up ahead. Smells just like honey. I just realized the guardrail is made of railway track. So this church, dedicated to Saint Jovana, was constructed from the year 2000. New money. It's a car on tracks. So this is a museum at the Shargan 8 steam locomotive station. Still runs. They built it in the 1920s. So there was a Serbian filmmaker who built a traditional village for his film Life is a Miracle in, I think, 2003. It's called Drvengrad, still in Mokra Gora. I'm gonna check that out real quick. Emir Kusturica was the film director who built this place. He called it Kustendorf. Dorf means village in German. Drvengrad, by the way, means timber village in Serbian. St. Sava Church. The filmmaker named all the streets and squares after his role models and idols. We got Yuri there, Maradona, patron saint of Napoli, Fidel Castro. I don't know about you, but I have a Serbian movie to watch. Do you remember the name?
No.
Life is a Miracle. Che Guevara Street. Djokovic Street. Hours behind schedule. Now, finally, to Tara National Park, up Tara Mountain. And that's where we'll stay for 2 nights. We're off-roading to a Spomenik. This Spomenik has been referred to as the monument to the first Racha partisan camp, and they put it up in 1967. Well, this is a first for a Spomenik, an information board. I'll read it to you. On this glade, on August 4th, 1941, the first Racha partisan company was formed with 18 fighters, who had 3 rifles, 3 pistols, several bombs, and 200 rifle bullets. The commander of the unit was the oldest among them, teacher Dusan Jerkovic, born in 1914 in the village of Ogar in Srem. On September 12, 1941, the first partisan company from Racha, with about 60 fighters, drove the German occupation crew out of Bajina Bashta. Its first commander, Dusan Jerkovic, died on Kadenjača on November 29, 1941, as the commander of partisan troops from Užice. And the top of the board says it's the Borovo Burdo Memorial Site. All right, free wood. We can make something out of that, what, like a little platter or something?
Yeah.
All right, grab one. Come on, let's go.
Shit. I wasn't kidding.
And now about an hour drive to a viewpoint that we're gonna see if the sun stays with us. We only got about an hour before the sun goes down though, so the race is on. So it's gonna happen today after all. Banjska Stena viewpoint. The view to see in Tara Mountain. There are bears in this here national park. And we're staying right on this lake here tonight and tomorrow night. And right behind me, across the water, is Bosnia and Herzegovina. Looks like we have our salad for tonight.
Okay, now I need a little bit of help.
Help her.
Can you?
My veal broth says, Prijetno, bon appetit. This is Čovarci. Čovarci? Čvarci. Now you know how to write Bajina Bashta in Serbian Cyrillic. Time for your favorite part of the day. Yeah, the city doesn't provide electricity for any of these houses because all of these houses are illegal. At least we have a cell phone light. Here's the water. That is cold water. It's 6:30 in the morning on Paraćin Lake, and here's my view of Bosnia. You look comfortable. Paraćin Lake, an unbelievably gorgeous lake we're staying at in the houseboat, has some dark history. In April 1999, a freezer truck was dumped into this lake. It contained 60 corpses. Some of them floated up to the top right away. Eventually, the entire container rose to the surface and the bodies were removed and put into a mass grave, later discovered in 2001. It's believed they were Kosovo Albanians executed during the 1999 conflict. What's your favorite part about this breakfast?
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
Paprika with garlic.
a life changer. I've been saying houseboat. That's not correct. It's a house built on a raft. It's called a splav. Splav in Serbian. Heading back to mainland. This is the splav we rented behind me. It's called Netnjet. This is Zelenica Viewpoint. This is the reversible hydroelectric power plant Bajina Bashta. And it takes Drina river water from Lake Paraćin, where we're living, through a 9.5 kilometer long tunnel up through Mount Tara and into the reservoir in Zaovine, and that's where we're driving to right now to see that lake. Ironic, isn't it? Our house has no electricity yet, it's so close to a power plant. We do have solar panels, but they're not so efficient thanks to the shadow cast by Tara Mountain behind it. And here it is, Zaovine Lake, the second reservoir for Bajina Bašta, the Jewel of the Tara, it is known as. A little faster than that. Look at that house sliding down the hill. Something bad happened here. Where am I taking you?
A peat bog.
A peat bog. Tepi Livada. It's a carpet meadow. This is Crveni potok. It's a unique rainforest of a peat forest type. And the ecosystem is unique, both in Serbia and in Europe. This peat bog is more than a couple thousand years old, and it's still growing by around 1 millimeter per year. So how do you like your peat bog experience?
I love it.
Are you walking on a cloud?
I am walking on a cloud.
Is it better than moss? Really?
I don't think so.
This peat bog is about 4 meters deep. This is my fourth complet lepanja in 4 days, but this one's a little different. They have a visible egg here. The Yugoslav Red Star. The Partizan Red Star.
That's one.
Now it's your turn.
That. Now we have heat. Heat.
I can't do it all over.
And there goes Katarina. Come to her if you need heat.
You're in my way.
So all these houses are illegal. That's why there's no, water hookup or electric hookup. People just claimed their spot on the lake and built a raft. No license needed, no registration, no taxes.
Thanks for the help, Dad.
It's good exercise. Today we're going home, back to Vršac. Look at this misty morning. A final breakfast in Paraćin before it's off to Vršac. This medieval graveyard in Paraćin is UNESCO listed. Stečji medieval tombstones. UNESCO lists 28 such sites located in Bosnia and Herzegovina, here in Western Serbia and Montenegro. This one dates from the 1300s. The tombstones are laid out in rows, a common custom in Europe from the Middle Ages. And the stečji are mostly carved from limestone. Any motifs or inscriptions are worn out. There's an isolated house, delicately balanced on a rock in the Drina River on the Serbian side. They've been building it since the 1960s. Every time they build it and a disaster strikes, they rebuild it. Looks pretty unique. It's called the Drina River House. You want to see it?
Yeah.
The Drina River House, a symbol of Bajina Bašta, and it's one of the best known landmarks of this river. The Drina River is also known as Zelenica, by the way, which translates to green river in Serbian. Sometimes the Drina River turns violent and it carries off this tiny house to somewhere only it knows. But it gets rebuilt. Even sturdier, even more beautiful. Draws even more attention, more admiration. So now we're heading back home to Vršac, maybe with a stop at Obranovac. Apparently, Google Maps figured out a way to have us off-road to Belgrade. I don't know what it's doing, but we find ourselves on this beautiful dirt road, at times heavily rutted. Well, as our journey has practically come to an end, we have big questions. We saw a lot of beautiful towns and villages and places in Serbia. Give me your top three.
So my first one is Paraćin, second is Gostuša, and third is Kapaonik area.
Okay, Gostuša is the village of stone where that old lady raped us in terms of price for the rakia. And Paraćin is where we just left, with the lake house. And what else?
Kapaonik.
Kamenica, I don't think that's a town, but that's a beautiful mountain. Yeah, it is very nice, very well developed. Looks like a little Switzerland up there with the ski resort or whatever they're building. Mine's going to be Paraćin as well. Tara Mountain, the whole area in general. Prijepolje, that's the village that in the past was divided by the Lim River with the Austro-Hungarian Empire on one side and the Ottoman-controlled area on the other side, and it had the Holy Pine and the White Angel fresco. So I like Prijepolje a lot. And I'm going to say the Pepper Village, Donja Lokošnica. Just, you know, it's nice to see. It's nice to see a billion peppers hanging from houses. How about Spomeniks? This is a Spomenik run after all. You have a favorite Spomenik?
Yeah, I like the faces, the big heads. I forgot the name.
What town?
Topola.
Topola. It's in Topola. That's it's called Stone Bouquet. I'm gonna go with the Mramor Monument in Vršac on Kapaonik. Can always use a cabbage. How much was that?
Free.
It was free?
Yeah.
It's free?
Yeah.
They're giving away free cabbages?
Yeah.
After a 2.5-hour drive, we've reached the Belgrade district, Obranovac municipality, and this is a Spomenik memorial crypt to fallen fighters and victims of World War II. They put it up in 1954. And another 2 hours, home sweet home. What you cooking?
Cabbage with sausages, and some mushrooms.
How could I in good conscience title a video "The Most Beautiful Towns and Villages of Serbia" without at least a nod to my beloved home, my slice of heaven, Vršac. Vršac has sweet gum trees. It's got German architecture. It's got a lot of bars, a lot of music. Speaking of musical, tonight we'll drive to a nearby village, about a half-an-hour drive to Banatski Karlovac, to see Vršac's legendary song and dance man, Dima, sing with his band Stone Faces. It's called something else in Serbian, but the English translation is Stone Faces.
Cause every single one got a story to tell. Everybody's looking for something.
Such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging.
But don't look back, you nigga. Don't look back.
This is Savoy Bowl. This is Savoy Bowl.
This is our
And now for the highlight of the year in Vršac. Today is the 68th annual Small Animal Festival. Small animals?
Small animals.
Look at this guy's feet. What a chest you have, sir. What a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
I mean, it's perfect, right?
Here,
This
translate
one-
one of these for me over.
Yeah, this one says, okay, wide chest, great body.
Great body.
Great body, and
Look, this one's rated 0. It says not fit for this exhibition. Oh man, you poor little misfit. You disgusting creature. So far, if I could take any home, it would be these guys right here. In Bari, they'd call these birds kotsalo. You have to be from Bari to understand. These are giant rabbits. Beer for scale. Cheers. And this is what happens when a pigeon has intercourse with a sheep. This rooster, this is what we can use back in Saget. Look at his feet. Brahma. So these are the largest roosters in the world. Look at these guys with mohawks. Nice haircut, loser. This guy has a mohawk. Where's his face? You should have been in the festival. You would have gotten 100. You would have scored 100. A song for the small animals and a song to say goodbye.